Guest 666 has been an extremely polarizing topic in Forsaken Balancing ever since its release. Some people think Sixer's too powerful, some people think Sixer's garbage, and today I want to throw my hat in the ring. I want to argue that Guest 666 is fair, sort of. We'll cover all of Sixer's abilities, why I think they're fair, my complaints about the killer, and what I'd change. Let's get into the video. Before we get into what makes Guest 666 fair, I need to get one notable gripe out of the way. Sixer being fair certainly doesn't mean it has a perfect design, and Hemorrhage is extremely flawed as a mechanic. Not the part with it reducing your max health or the conditional Sixer gets from it, but how the game presents Hemorrhage to survivors. First off, there is absolutely no explanation for Hemorrhage unless you go on the Sixer info page and scroll down a bit. Something extremely out of the player's way. And this isn't like Poison, Speed, or Helpless where it's pretty obvious what the status effect does. Hemorrhage has a lot of working parts to it. Now, of course, why does this matter? Well, it's because you have to click on another player to ask them to remove Hemorrhage. And the only way you're explicitly told this is on that page. That kind of extremely hidden mechanic makes onboarding new players a nightmare, especially with how popular Sixer is as a killer choice. And I know, you can just wait out the Hemorrhage. If you're just always gonna wait out the Hemorrhage, why have an option to ask somebody else to get rid of it? Second off, there is zero incentive to remove Hemorrhage off a teammate. If you ask a sweat to remove Hemorrhage off you, they're probably going to ignore it because they get nothing from it, and removing it will leave themselves vulnerable in the process. Why waste time removing Hemorrhage when you can complete generators? Something that actually gives you rewards. So, if the person with Hemorrhage doesn't know, and the person who can remove it doesn't care, how did the devs expect this interaction to happen in the first place? Sheer moral obligation?
Yeah, teamwork makes the dream work. It's a group effort to get out of this Forsaken realm, guys.
No! This was a flawed mechanic from the get-go, and became even more flawed when it had its duration reduced. To fix this, I want to propose two changes to how Hemorrhage works. First off, Hemorrhage is either going to show a message to the player telling them how to remove it upon being applied, or you no longer have to ask other survivors to remove it. Making players ask other players without directly saying it in a match is not friendly to new players. Either directly say it or remove the requirement to ask. Second, a survivor that removes Hemorrhage off a teammate should get some XP and money for it. Die of Death gives you money for getting rid of Badware's PCs. This isn't anything new to asym killers on Roblox. You should be rewarded for interacting with this type of gimmick. Yet there's no incentive right now, and therefore nobody cares about it. Alright, with that out of the way, let's actually get into what's fair about Guest 666. Eviscerate is necessary for Sixer's gimmick. A major weakness of Guest 666 is getting looped, and Eviscerate can help catch up to survivors to an extent, as it provides a lunge forward on use. Keep its weakness to getting looped in mind, as we'll be going back to it later. Back to Eviscerate, it isn't free, as it comes at a 10 blood cost, and a short slowness penalty upon missing. It has its upsides and downsides. While it's rewarding to land, it's punishing to miss, as you really don't want to be losing blood out of thin air when Blood Hunt is important for Sixer. That being said, it is in no way punishing to subscribe to the channel. So if you're part of the 96% of my viewers who aren't subscribed and you're enjoying the content, consider subscribing. Let's pursue the idea that Demonic Pursuit might not be as unfair as players think. While yes, its windup is extremely fast, if you only use it on minimal windup, you're just dealing 6 damage over an M1 in the process. Compare that to Cool Kid's Walk Speed Override, which has a 0.5 second windup. The same windup time as base Demonic Pursuit, and deals a total of 47 damage. Now of course, you can charge up Demonic Pursuit to deal more damage, but that means more windup, which is fair. It's a perfect example of a risk-reward mechanic. I thought I'd also address Sixer's gimmick of verticality here. After all, I just made a video about Veronica's verticality and cooked up a banger section for it. For a killer, what I think about verticality is a little different. Survivors getting verticality means that killers without it will have trouble reaching them, and with survivors having the timer as their main win con, That's a fundamental problem. Sixer getting verticality instead means the killer simply has another trick up its sleeve to catch up to survivors, which is much less of a design issue than survivors getting it. Another thing that I've heard about Demonic Pursuit is that it catches people out of nowhere, and to that I say two things. First off, Sixer is large and has obvious red horns that you can see from far away. If you're getting targeted for a long-range pursuit, you're capable of discerning the killer's location. Two, we already have these types of punish moves in the game, and nobody's minded it. Slasher has Gashing Wound, which can be used on a punish on unaware players. Demonic Pursuit does less damage than it, of course, at the cost of more range. It's fair. Lastly, the ability doesn't regain stamina while you're leaping, unlike other catch-up moves. Infernal Cry is fine. Yeah, that's really it, I don't know. It's a catch-up move that throws off survivors that get hit by it. It's not really a controversial topic like Blood Hunt, which we'll be going over next. Infernal Cry is much more balanced with the smaller hitbox. The duration is a fair punishment for getting hit by it now. Alright, with that out of the way, let's cover the most polarizing ability in Sixer's kit. Blood Hunt. Blood Hunt is more fair than you think. The survivor's answer to it is right in front of the player's face, as the game literally tells you how to survive a blood hunt. Run and hide. A commonly looked over stat change that Sixer receives while a blood hunt is active is its terror radius, which is halved during a blood hunt. This is important because during a chase, the timer for a blood hunt decreases twice as slowly, making those 25 seconds pass by much slower if the killer's in a chase. And keep in mind that there's a fair amount of wind-up when using Blood Hunt. So if Sixer starts off the Blood Hunt far away from everyone, even if he does eventually catch up and initiate a chase, that's going to burn a lot of time. This could potentially cause the Sixer to be a little more desperate and make more mistakes to try and get a kill to keep Blood Hunt up. That 40 stud terror radius in a Blood Hunt can also make what would have been registered as a chase outside of a Blood Hunt not a chase, so long as the other survivor being chased is far enough away. Yes, that one guest main I saw in a match the other day, blocking in front of the Sixer while they're initiating a Blood Hunt is a bad idea! Finally, let's get to where this all culminates into my main point. While I think that Guest 666 is fair, I don't think that Guest 666 is fair. Post-editing, I just realized this is a stupid visual without any context. While yes, Sixer does have a clear counter in getting looped, it's not a healthy counter since it can easily devolve into an infinite loop if done right. While yes, Sixer does have catch-up moves, it's clearly not enough when you're getting looped by a competent player. You're either not looping Sixer and getting dunked on, or you're looping Sixer and the chase turns into an ultra-free challenge. It's fair, but how it's fair is in extreme absolutes, which isn't fun for both killer and survivor gameplay, because when one of the teams is at a disadvantage, it feels like there's no viable counterplay besides that one bulletproof option, which isn't fun to partake in. Now, of course, I wouldn't be leaving you empty-handed for how I'd fix this problem, so I want to offer a solution for this. Dead by Daylight has a killer mechanic called Bloodlust, which basically gives the killer a slowly increasing speed boost so they can catch up to survivors that evade them for a long time. The catch is that if the killer uses an ability, hits a survivor with an attack, or breaks a pallet, this speed boost is lost, allowing the survivor to get back to evading. Now you're probably asking, why was this mechanic added? You'll never believe this! It's for the same problem Sixer has! Before Bloodlust, there was a good deal of infinites in the game that theoretically let a survivor loop the killer if they didn't slip up. And wouldn't you know it, this is a reoccurring issue for Sixer. To fix Guest 666, I want to rework Manic Fixation into a version of Bloodlust. Manic Fixation now slowly ramps up Sixer's speed to a cap of a 15% bonus, while in a chase. This speed boost is completely removed upon one of two conditions being met. 1, Sixer uses an ability, including their M1. 2, the killer is no longer in a chase. This allows Sixer to eventually catch up to a survivor looping them, but not instantly. And of course, when Sixer does eventually catch up to said survivor, the survivor then has a chance to get away due to the boost resetting. It's fair for both sides, and would keep things interesting as it doesn't steer into absolutes like we're seeing now with Sixer's gameplay. Due to this video being pushed back a few days, you guys get a bonus for being patient. That bonus is of course discussing my favorite Guest 666 skins. And I have two favorites. First off, Guest 333, because, I mean, look how goofy it is. It is a lollipop for a tail. It's that whimsical. The fact that it's this silly looking and still plays the extremely grandiose and serious original Sixer chase theme while you're running for your life from it is amazing. Please don't replace this with chase slop like the milestone skins. Actually, since we're on the topic of skins, if you guys want a full rant on my favorite skins for each survivor, I'll do it if the video reaches 350 likes. Anyways, back to my favorite Sixer skins. Second is the Jack-o'-lantern skin, which was a great addition for the time of release. The orange color scheme is great, not much else to say. This will be Capac in 2030. Guest 666 isn't the unstoppable monster people make it out to be. It's just kind of awkward. Between Hemorrhage's confusing design, extremely inconsistent chases, and a kit that either dominates or flops depending on the map and players, Sixer lands in this weird middle ground where everything technically works, but it's not fun. So sure, Sixer is fair, but what are your thoughts about it? Leave them in the comments. See ya.